smoke is quieting down. Seems like we've got to a lot of the smoke. Dub, you got smoke?
No, but just the music. It's fun to talk music.
It's
We
better
did
to
a
do
lot
it
of
with
music,
less voices chiming in.
That I was trying not to say that.
It
Say
is
that
better
without
to
saying
do
it.
it with less voices chiming in. It is. I enjoy this type of
I feel
talk.
like a good
Yeah.
day to just be quiet. Hear it
Everybody
out.
could say something. That statement: live, be heard, breathe.
Yeah.
Then, yeah. I'll
Controversial.
be the first to admit that sometimes it's a lot.
Do you think the show will be better with fewer mics?
Messy.
You look pitchy. Can you stop?
No. It was designed to be pitchy.
But a half note off, brother.
Do I think that's a loaded question?
Mm-hmm.
I can't just. It's not a straight answer to me.
Give us the crooked one.
Who are the mics?
Okay, that's fair.
Like fewer mics don't necessarily mean better to me.
All right, let me ask a follow up.
If you
If
could
you have
get
the
a
right mics, whatever that means to you, is fewer better than more? Or let me ask more specific. What is the sweet
Well,
spot?
I think that this show would be better today with fewer mics.
Got it.
However, for the plan long term and what I think needs to happen, the more talented people, the better.
Got it.
That just don't have to be the same show or the same day or the same topic or in the same place.
What's going on, y'all? We are back with the files. All right, now listen. Marc Lamont Hill asked a messy question that could shift the entire foundation of the Joe Budden podcast. He leaned in and said, Joe, do you think the show would be better with fewer mics? All right. The second those words left his mouth, Imani immediately jumped in, calling Marc out for being messy. But Marc wasn't letting it go. Nah, he pressed forward. You already know how he do. Joe, in classic Joe fashion, tried to dodge it at first. He shot back. Who are the mics? As if pretending the question wasn't really about the cast itself. Come on, man. You know what's up, Joe. But Marc didn't fold. He clarified. If you have the right mics, it's fewer better than more, okay? Now, that's when Joe had no choice but to answer. He surprisingly admitted, yes, the show today would be better with fewer mics. Now, pause right there for a second. Pause right there, okay? This is huge. Joe Budden, the man who has been running this pod for years, the man who's gone through so many co-host changes, from Rory and Maul to Flip being added to Marc himself being rotated in, all right? He openly admitted he thinks less might be more, all right? Now, what does that mean for Ish? What does that mean for Ice? For Flip, who's already questioned his own role on the show multiple times, all right? And for Mel, who once had to, just got sent to HR recently because she felt like the jokes were too heavy, all right? What is this gonna mean for the homie Marc, all right? Who also admits in this same episode that he doesn't even understand his role on the pod, right? What does that mean for the whole cast? All right, Joe's been hinting at this for a while. He's spoken about one, a rotating cast, about having different members pop in and out depending on the topic or the guest. But how do you really manage that? If an artist cancels last minute, if a segment needs a particular personality, how do you choose who sits out, and who steps in? And what about the fans, right? Like, what about us? The truth is, part of the charm of the JBP is that every cast member has their own set of supporters. Some people ride for Ice's laid-back takes. Other people, can't wait for Ish being passionate and all that. Some people love the Flip chaos, right? You know what I'm saying? And believe it or not, some people do tune in for Mel's perspective. All right. Now, if you start cutting off these mics, you're cutting voices that people have grown attached to. Even me. You know what I'm saying? Personally, I've had pods where I didn't care for somebody's energy that day, right? But if they were gone for too long, I missed their reactions, okay? And that's the unpredictable magic of this podcast. It's why people keep watching, okay? Even when it gets messy. All right, but here's the thing. Joe isn't talking about mics. He's talking about the network. He wants to build his own version of something like, Charlemagne's Black Effect Network. You know what I'm saying? He wants different shows, different personalities, all under the same umbrella. That's the dream. Everybody branches off, everybody creates their own lane, and they all collect a piece of the bigger pie, right? That's the hack. Me and Danny just spoke about that, you know what I'm saying, on his podcast. Now, Mark made it even spicier, all right, when he pointed out something, a pod member once said that conversations flow better when there are fewer people on the mic, okay? At the time, Mark disagreed, but now, after sitting in that seat, feeling how crowded the conversation can get, he admitted he finally understands why someone would say that. Now, that's dangerous too. Mark is being a little manipulative, trying to get people kicked out the whip. He ain't low. Now, Joe was dead serious during this segment. He wasn't in joke mode. He talked about progress reports, benchmarks, and expectations for each cast member. That's corporate talk. That's that business talk right there. He basically letting them know, if you're not hitting these marks, you're not growing with the team. Mark quickly reminded him that's what companies usually do when they want, to weed people out. He asked the real question. When somebody does meet those goals, what happens next? Is it just a pat on the back? You know what I'm saying? Does it come with real pay opportunities? You know what I'm saying? A boost in pay? You know what I'm saying? Real growth? Like, does it? You know what I'm saying? Joe insisted that if the work is done right, you'll see it reflected in pay. You know what I'm saying? And in other opportunities. But let's be real. A lot of people hear that at their job and think like that's just a corporate spin. How many jobs tell you that? Just do good. You know what I'm saying? It'll pay off down the line. But the reality is you'll wind up getting stuck waiting forever. Joe has to know that's how it sounds to some of the, I'm saying to all of us. That's how it sounds, right? And then there's, the roles conversation. Joe made a point that people need to play their role better. Okay, but Mark and Imani both pushed back. They were confused about what their roles even are. Okay, and that's not new. Flip has asked the same question before. What's my role? Mel asked the same question before. You know what I'm saying? She's gotten into arguments on and off the pod and asked what's her real purpose there beyond just being the target of the jokes or eye candy. All right? Now, like, everybody on this pod doesn't even know their role. Like, Ish doesn't want to be the angry guy always talking about just real estate or child support stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? They want to know their role, okay? And here's the real takeaway. If Mark doesn't understand his role, Imani doesn't understand his role, Flip feels a little shaky, you know what I'm saying? Then what does that really say about the JBP? Is this the most successful, unorganized pod in the game? Or is it the most chaotic genius experiment that's still finding its final form, right? Now, with Mark there now, and Joe putting this network dream into motion, the shift feels inevitable, right? Like something is about to change. The only question is, who is about to be on the outside looking in when it happens? Okay? Now, I got some real questions for y'all, some more deeper questions. Do you think Joe Budden is serious about cutting the mics, or was he just entertaining Mark's messy question? If fewer mics really makes the pod better, who do you think should sit out? Flip, Mel, or Ish and Ice? Let me know what you guys think. And would you want to see a rotating cast, or do you prefer the unpredictability of the full crew? Let me know, all right? Also, do you think Joe is truly building a network like the Black Effect, or is it that, another dream he'll never fully commit to? All right, let me know what you guys think in the comments. And like I said, subscribe to my Patreon. I got more content coming out. It's fire. You see me with the Oak Bluff shirt on. We just represent for Martha's Vineyard for the people over there that just went out there a couple weeks ago. You already know. They try to push us to the rocks, but you know what I'm saying? You know how we do. Shout out to the people from my Aunt Helen's Howard crew. And we'll be back with the files.
My guy Dub too. That's my man though.
Gang gang.
That's my man, Big Dub.